You are listening to Three Kitchens Podcast, hosted by Heather Dyer and Aaron Walker. To find our complete catalog of episodes, check out any of your favorite podcast players.
Or our website, threekitchenspodcast.com. Welcome to Three Kitchens Podcast.
Hi!
I'm Heather. Here's Aaron.
I'm here. I've shown up.
I hope when I pointed it was
correct.
The right direction on your screen. Okay.
We're good.
Okay. So I thought for this episode, we could do a recipe that I've never made, but it was created here in the city in which we live, Calgary, Alberta, Canada, for anyone who doesn't know that. It was created here and made famous here. So can you guess? Do you know?
Well, I mean, I'm thinking of the Caesar, which we've already had the drink. So I'm assuming, no, it's a no on that. Have you noticed they've changed the signs and slogans welcoming us into the city?
No, what does it say now?
Again, I don't remember anymore.
Oh.
Because it's changed so many times, but now it's a blue sign. It used to be a red sign that said like what?
The New West or something?
Yeah, Heart of the New West.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Now it's something else.
Okay, wow.
I know.
Whatever.
I was like, great. I'm so glad we spent our money on this. Anyway, we'll
okay,
take that grape to the side. What is it, Heather?
This recipe was created in the mid-1970s. So it's been around. I'm almost certain you've eaten it.
Okay.
If you're like me, perhaps you've never cooked it. So let's try making it at home. It is ginger beef.
No way.
Yes, originally, yes. Originally, I believe it was called crispy ginger beef.
That sounded like a Miss Doubtfire, yes.
Yes. Tell you all about it. Okay. All right. So ginger beef is a recipe that was created in the mid-1970s by chef George Wong at the Silver Inn restaurant.
Okay. That's like our favorite hotspot for Chinese New Year, right?
Is that still open? Is it still open? I don't actually know. We might have to look that
up. It's the one upstairs, yeah?
Yeah, I can picture it. Mm-hmm. But for some reason, I feel like maybe, I don't know if it's still there. The one that we always order from in the past few months was shut down for health violations.
Oh, shit.
I'm like, ew, let's not think about that.
Yeah, yeah.
So Chef George Wong at the Silver Inn, it was inspired by Northern Chinese flavors and British-style pub food. So
that makes sense.
I didn't put it in my notes, but what I believe the chef and his wife, who owned the restaurant, realized that the money was to be made by selling drinks, alcoholic drinks. That was how they were going to make more money in their restaurant. And so they thought, what do people like to eat while they're having drinks is like that kind of salty fried pub food.
Something that makes them thirstier?
Yes.
By chance?
Yes. And they thought something like French fries, but they wanted it to be kind of influenced by their Northern Chinese flavors that they were used to cooking at their Chinese restaurant. And it was designed to attract those non-Chinese customers and increase their bar sales.
Of course, increase the bar sales, right?
Yeah. Are you looking at the map of China?
I'm looking at the map behind me because this is something that I can't remember. Oh, my husband and I had recently gone to see an artist who is Chinese, and she does some of her artist residencies in China, and then she comes back to Calgary. And so her name is Wei Li, and she does some really cool art. So check her out if you want. But we were discussing the environmental and temporal differences in China and how different it is. Like, and I'm looking at the map again to remind myself, but they essentially have climates from, we're like down to Florida all the way up to Quebec. Like all the way up to like northern Manitoba is their range of geographical distance between like Beijing and like Hong Kong at the bottom. And so it's something that I never really realized about China because I'm terrible at geography and
Well, it's a really big country and they
it's
have a lot of different traditions and cultural
yeah.
differences around. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, it
So you're going to cut it thinly against the grain. So what I did, and if you watch the reel on our social media, you'll see I tried to do it so that you could see it, and I held up the slice to the camera so you could see. So if you're looking at your steak, it's kind of long-ish, and the grain appears to go lengthwise.
Okay.
Cut the end so you're cutting
Okay.
the shorter piece. Does that make,
I
how
get
would you
what you're
describe
saying.
that?
If
Don't
your
cut with that
if your
grain. You're gonna,
steak is east to west and your grain is east to west, cut north to
oh,
south.
see, there you go.
There we go.
That's good.
Continue.
Also, I could not find a flank steak when I was shopping. But I remember saying, okay, I'm cooking ginger beef because I got steak on sale today.
Yeah, you told me you found the stickers.
Yeah, 30% off. I can't resist. I also got 30% off steak today, and we're having that for dinner tonight because, I can't. That's the only time we really eat steak
Yeah.
is when it's on sale,
Yeah.
honestly.
I try to buy most of my meat in the buy me now section.
Yeah. I mean, really, why wouldn't you? And just put it in the freezer, right?
All the time.
Okay. So I did look this up. If you can't find your flank steak, what you don't want in your ginger beef is fat running through your pieces of beef, right?
Okay, yeah.
So you
Agreed.
don't want a nice marbly steak might be good for another meal. That's not what you want for this one.
Okay.
So it's quite lean and
Right. This makes me
thin.
think of when you made beef jerky
Oh, that
way
was good.
back, and we
Yep.
talked about the grain of meat, and we talked
Yes.
about having a non-fatty piece. So this is the same type of meat. And what did you end up with again? Because you texted me too about the cut of meat, and you were like, "Well, hope this works."
I believe it was a sirloin
Okay.
steak. When I looked at it and I looked it up, here I am in the grocery store. What did we do before we had computers in our pocket at the grocery store? I guess I would have gone to the butcher counter and
Right? The poor lonely butcher now just stands there waiting for someone to ask him questions.
they're not even usually out there. They're in the
They're
back
never there.
somewhere doing something. Yeah, you would have asked a question. But anyways, I did get the message about lean, thin, and so the sirloin steak that I bought seemed to fit the bill well enough. And I thought, well, it's on sale and it looks good, so that's what I'm going with.
Excellent.
Okay, first thing you're going to do here is once you've got your steak sliced up, this is definitely a recipe to have all your ducks in a row, get your things all prepared and ready to go ahead of time. So you also have vegetables that go in here. There is a large carrot, a sweet bell pepper, pick your color. It also, in the ingredients lists a green bell pepper, but I didn't have one of those, so I think I used 2 of the other colored ones.
Gotcha.
6 cloves of garlic and a hefty chunk of ginger. And for all of these things, you are going to, as best as you can, finely julienne them.
How come you're measuring your garlic as hefty? That's not a measurement.
No,
Or
6
sorry, your ginger.
cloves.
Sorry, your ginger.
I'm reading the recipe to you. A hefty chunk of ginger. Okay, don't you find that ginger is often measured in weird ways?
I was going to say, we're always complaining about this thumb of ginger. I don't know.
Yes.
Hefty chunk of ginger now? Come on.
Okay, so it also says
All right.
size of 2 thumbs, depending on taste. So in my opinion, this recipe really is about your preference when it comes to the ginger.
But it's ginger beef.
It is ginger beef. That is the star of the show here.
Right.
So err on more ginger, not less.
Okay.
But honestly, I think you got to feel it out the first time you make it. I went with what it says, 2 thumbs. Here's my thumbs. I did a chunk that was basically the size of my two thumbs together, and I was like, maybe even with the big bottom joint, like I used a
Oh,
lot.
yeah. Where does the thumb end?
Well, there you go. I used a lot of ginger, what I thought was a hefty chunk.
Excellent.
I should, oh, hello, Mr. Puckle. I should have weighed it. I didn't think of that. I'm really sorry. That wouldn't
That's
have been really
okay.
helpful.
I just like making fun of the ginger measurements that we come
I know.
across. They're always something different.
Well, a thumb is seems to be a popular way of measuring. I mean,
It
come on.
does.
I don't think I have particularly petite hands, but I also don't have large hands. Like my thumbs are kind of scrawny, so I don't know.
Well,
Like
is it a human thumb or is like the little knob coming off the side considered a thumb?
that's no, no, no. That's
Oh, okay.
can't be it, can it? That's so. That's just a
You,
little. If that's the case, I used way too much.
well, some of the knobs are like really big. They're like branches, and then some of them are just little like
Nubbin,
tiny
nubbin.
buds. Yeah, it's a nubbin. Not even a nub.
Not even a knob.
Pre-nub.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, God. Okay.
We've got some
Okay.
good ginger.
Go,
Lots of
go.
it.
Lots of ginger.
Okay.
Julienne as best as you can. Um, I had one of my kids helping me julienne some vegetables here. So like, listen, if you don't have that skill, you don't have time maybe to fuss about them being perfect little matchsticks, just, you want them to be nicely, thinly sliced. Then you have a batter that you're going to be dipping your steak in before you
Okay.
fry it. And in there you have an egg, a cup of water, a cup and a quarter of cornstarch, 3 tablespoons of flour, half a tablespoon of white pepper, and 2 to 3 cups of oil for frying the beef. That's not doesn't go in the batter, but you'll have
Yep.
lots of oil on hand for frying. Okay, white pepper. How do you feel about white pepper? Do you have any? Do you buy white pepper?
I had white pepper in my pantry for a while. When it ran out, I just replaced it with black pepper.
I have I have a confession. I'd never bought white pepper in my life.
Ah,
Even though I have seen and made many, many recipes that call for white pepper, I have always substituted black because I'm like, meh, pepper's
right?
pepper, and that's what I buy.
Hmm.
But this time I bought white pepper because I was like,
There you go.
well, because I had the recipe in my hand when I was at the store, and I'm like, I wonder if it makes a difference. I don't know. I still don't know.
I don't know. Is it just to do, is it like the same pepper at a different stage in its life? Is this another one of these things? Or is
Oh
that
gosh, probably. Like I imagine it's
like
like
it's an immature pepper seed versus a more mature pepper seeds? I don't know. I got lost at the pepper
this.
section the last time I was in the spice market down in Inglewood because they had a
Oh,
whole wall of peppers. I'm pretty sure there was like 8 or 10 of them, and I was like, we started smelling the jars and being like, "Ooh, let's pick a pepper." And then by the end, it was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just gonna close my eyes and grab one.
it's all the same. Okay, well, you were almost right.
Oh,
Black pepper is made from unripe berries that are dried.
okay,
White pepper is made from fully ripe berries with the outer layer removed, resulting in a milder flavor.
okay.
So, white pepper is
Opposite then. Okay.
opposite. It's like the old hair. The white hair is older pepper.
Ah,
That's my mental
is
note to
that why we
myself.
call it salt and pepper up here?
They should they should call it black pepper and white pepper
I
mixed.
guess so. Okay, and so it's not a seed, it's a berry?
Yep.
Oh,
Yes, it is.
thank you for teaching me that. I have
Well,
learned.
so have I right this moment. Okay. Next up, you have the sauce. So if you're going to prep this in advance, you have a quarter cup of light soy sauce, 2 tablespoons white vinegar, 3 tablespoons mushroom soy sauce, a tablespoon of Chinese cooking wine or dry sherry, half a cup of water, quarter cup of sugar. Or it says you could do half a cup if you like it sweet,
Okay.
and half a tablespoon or more of crushed chilies. So now you've mixed up all your stuff. You've got your things ready to go. Heat up your oil.
Now you can begin the cooking process.
Yes.
Do not turn on your stove before you have everything laid out.
Oh yeah, you don't want that oil just popping away there when you're not ready for
Yeah,
it.
no, that becomes a danger, doesn't it? Pretty quick. All
Okay,
right.
so you are taking your steak, dipping it in the batter, frying it.
Okay.
Depending on the size of your pot, that might dictate how many you put in there at once. Chances are you're not getting a full, I think it was a pound of meat
Oh,
in
yeah.
there at one time. I started out doing like 2 pieces because I wasn't sure, and I was kind of, and then in the end, I think I put the last few all together. And
Yeah.
okay, this is where I have the first of my questions, I guess, for us to ponder.
All right.
It doesn't tell me, it just says deep fry strips of beef until crispy and set aside. Well, how long should that be?
Well, that's a very
Isn't
vague
right?
description. Cook the beef.
Until
Thanks. I got
crispy.
that.
Well, I will tell you that batter crisps up like almost
Okay.
immediately. It's thin.
Oh,
It's a
yeah. Okay.
thin cornstarch sort of batter, right? It's not like a thick, it's not a thick dough on there that
Right.
has to
It doesn't
cook.
coat it very intensely, right?
Yeah, so it crisps up almost immediately. And plus, you don't want to dry it out, like you don't want jerky, speaking
No.
of jerky, right? So it's like, okay, well, it looks crispy. I'm gonna take it out now. But by the end, and I don't know, maybe we can talk about it at the end, but I felt like it wasn't what they were calling crispy ginger beef. I didn't think that it was crispy at the end of the day with the sauce and all the everything,
Yeah, for
you
sure.
know?
I have to say I was almost surprised to hear that you did fry it because I was like, "Oh, did Heather cop out and be like, "No, I'm baking this. No more fry. No fried in my house." Because the batter didn't seem, like you say, crispy. I mean, usually
Right.
there's a good crunch
A little bit of
to get
more,
through.
yeah.
Like,
Maybe not
hmm,
crunch, but like there's a definite batter layer.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
there's a crisp to it.
And I wonder if I don't know if making it at home gets a different result than because this is supposedly the recipe from the Silver Inn.
Yes, right.
Maybe a commercial deep fryer produces a different type of
What
result.
temperature did you fry it at?
It doesn't say.
Ah,
So I don't,
that's also a good question. Oh, geez.
and I don't have a lot of experience deep frying because I tend to avoid it at all
Yep.
costs.
Yeah, I would
So,
say I don't have much for like valuable opi valuable advice. It's more just
yeah.
like, these are things that I wonder.
And it was crispy enough when I put it into the sauce. But then remember, when we get to it, there is a time where you let it sit in the sauce. You and I didn't eat it till the next day.
Yeah.
And so there was nothing crisp left. Okay, well, let's just carry on with how we assemble this. Your beef is done, it's set aside. You're going to stir fry vegetables until crispy. So we're
Mhm.
not deep frying them,
No.
we are stir frying them. And I mean, crispy, again, I
Um,
don't think these vegetables were crispy. I didn't know how to tell. A bunch of julienned vegetables don't really get crispy in a stir fry. They get, I mean, some of them browned a little bit, but it's quite a
they
lot of
kind of more
vegetables.
so soften. If
Yeah,
you ask me,
right?
you're asking them to turn the opposite direction? Issue
Quite
number two.
confusing. Yeah. But I didn't worry about it. Okay. Um, Once you have your veggies looking like they're done, you put the
To the
sauce in with
doneness
them.
you desire.
Yeah, the doneness of your desire. Put in your sauce, bring it to a boil for a minute or two, remove from heat. Then you're going to put that beef into it, toss it all up to coat the beef with the sauce.
But of course.
So what I did was I had my big deep, almost like a wok, like a fry pan.
That
I
was my
just
question.
I put the beef into there with the veggies and the sauce and I tossed it all up and I put the lid on top.
Oh, yeah.
And then remember, for the authentic original Calgary crispy ginger beef, it says keep it warm for 1 to 2 hours until the flavor and the color is through the entire dish
Okay.
because the sauce soaks everything in there. So putting the lid on it and just kind of putting it to the back of the stove, it stayed warm
Yeah.
for a long time. So I didn't worry about it. I just left it there. Well, okay, I did try a little piece at the time
Yeah.
and I knew right away it was not crispy. It was like, okay, what's the deal with the crispiness going on? But now I think due to our, you know,
Some sleuthing here.
yeah, I think it's probably the temperature of the oil. And this recipe failed me by not giving a bit more
Yeah.
instruction, detail.
I truly don't know. But
But
first thing that surprises me, you didn't marinate the meat. Definitely thought that this meat would have been marinated. Step of surprise. So, the feedback from the children was that they wanted it to be sweeter.
oh, okay.
Is all of the flavors totally hit the spot. And I would say, even if you're not gonna go and batter and fry it, this would be a good sauce to like marinate and deep fry and make your beef with. Sans batter, oil, wah wah.
So you would like stir fry, use it as a stir fry sauce.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah, I would too. I thought the flavor of it was spot on. It was exactly what I was like, oh yes, this tastes exactly like ginger beef should taste.
Okay.
As a Calgarian, I will say this is what
As
ginger
somebody
beef is supposed to taste
from
like.
the
Hey,
originating place
I
of
wasn't
ginger
born
beef.
here, but I've lived here long enough to eaten enough ginger beef in my day.
Yeah.
If you're not fussed about that texture, I still think it was good with the batter
Yeah.
on the on like the that kind of little bit of breading on the meat. I still thought it was really
Because it
tasty.
soaked up the juices. Like they were like little pops of that
Yeah.
sauciness that, I mean, whether the batter's crispy or not, that's what the batter's doing. It's like holding on to all that yummy flavor that it's soaked in. I don't know. I can't get enough of that flavor. I
Oh,
love that flavor.
so yummy. 2 thumbs of ginger, everyone. Here's
Hey,
your measurement.
2 thumbs up for ginger beef flavor. We don't know much.
We have a lot of questions, not a lot of answers.
Sometimes these recipes take us down that path, don't they? Where we're like, huh, so I have a lot more things that I'm thinking of now than I did when I started.
White pepper versus black pepper. Flank steak versus sirloin steak.
We've gone
I
down a lot of roads with this.
Yes, I know. I had a lot of like, oh, I got to remember to talk about that. Oh yeah, we should probably talk about this because it is fairly simple
Mhm,
once you've got your stuff all organized and ready to go.
mhm.
But yeah, there were a few questions in there, and I was like, I'm
Well,
I'm usually pretty confident about substituting stuff
yeah,
because I do it like in every single thing I make.
that's
But
like
there
all I
were,
do.
yeah, there were a couple things there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad to know what the sauce is because I don't think I'm gonna go, probably won't go down the road of deep frying, but I am for sure gonna make that sauce and put it with some beef because,
I've always really loved ginger beef. And this, clearly, this sauce is like the thing.
yeah, this is it. We have the sauce.
The secret sauce.
The secret
Not so
sauce.
secret, but it's a secret. Yeah, anyway.
And now you have it too.
You all have it too. Go to threekitchenspodcast.com and get the recipe. And anyone who is like
Yeah.
an expert on the deep frying, what temperature should that oil be at?
Anyone that knows how to deep fry, give us a shout. And now for the fine print. Links to recipes and other things we talked about in this episode can be found in the show notes or on our website, www.threekitchenspodcast.com. Come say hello on Instagram, Facebook, Threads, YouTube, and TikTok. We'd love to connect. And if you enjoy the show, pass it on. Word of mouth is the #1 way people learn about new podcasts. Thank you so much for listening.